Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield, as well as streaming online audio-wise at espnbakersfield.com. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for, my friend.
Oh, we'll get into about everything. I went and watched Tron over the weekend.
I need an assessment.
We partied out at Brunch Fest, where I will gave away about 10 EBS shirts to some listeners that stopped by. You were out to Vegas. We got to hear about that. Plus the baseball championship series have started. My Mariners are up 1-0. I can actually be happy for one thing in sports.
I'm not going to lie to you, my friend. I didn't expect y'all to win yesterday.
No,
I really didn't. But again, the Seattle Mariners out to a great start. And we got to talk about this was such an eventful weekend. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think me or JR were going to make it to Vegas, and that's because of weather.
Yeah, tell me more.
So I need to show you this video because we were freaking out for a second. Right about at Barstow, I want to say. I can't remember exactly where it started.
The one place you don't want to be stuck in.
No, of course not. Myself, JR Flores, headed out to Vegas to cover the Raider game for you guys. We left Saturday night after Brunch Fest. Thank you for everybody who came out to Brunch Fest, by the way. It was a great success. Everybody had a great time, and we had no issues as far as I could tell. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. And again, for those of you who are wondering, why are we inside the fairgrounds? It's just, we're trying new things out. We're trying to see how it works out. Hopefully next year.
I liked it.
I thought it was great. And honestly, going in, I was worried we were going to get rained on Saturday. So at the same time, I was like, oh, thank God we're inside. You don't have to worry about that. But on the way to Vegas, I saw something that I've never seen before, Sparky. I know lightning storms are a thing. Okay. I know Californians, we aren't really used to them. We don't get them very often. But when I tell you, myself and JR drove through nothing but lightning clouds from the way to Barstow all the way to Vegas, or I guess Henderson in this situation, because that's where we stayed. I've never seen, you look up and you would have thought Thor and Zeus were going at it. Like, this was nuts. It was everywhere. We thought we were going to get it. It was just one of those moments. I wish I could, we tried to take videos for y'all so we could show it to you guys, because we knew no one's going to believe us. There's no way anybody's
probably not the smartest thing to do, but yeah.
No. But what I tell you, it was like a tunnel, like a Disney ride. Like, I was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride 2.0. And it was the craziest piece of weather I've had to go through. But I'm glad we did, because we got to see a great game for the Raiders, a fantastic bounce back win against the Titans. And although, yes, the glaring issues are still there. The offensive line still not playing as well as they should. Jonathan Simmons made everybody notice that yesterday. But the team itself is in the right mindset. I think Pete's got them rolling at least in the right direction. You can hear it in Gino's voice. He's a little more confident. He's not worried about throwing the ball away as much. And we'll get to a couple audio pieces that we got from over the weekend as well, because I think Max just gave me a brand new segment for this show on Mondays, Sparky. And honestly, I like the idea. He didn't give it to me directly, don't get me wrong, but one of his answers sprouted an idea in my mind that I feel like we need to start incorporating on this show on Mondays. Everybody has their own overreaction Monday, as we all like to do, because, what's the best way to celebrate a fantastic weekend of football than to overreact to it on Monday and tell everybody your crazy takes?
Or just watch baseball.
Absolutely. But Max and the Raiders have a different tradition on Monday, which we'll get to in a little bit. And I like it. I think we need to incorporate this into our show, just because it'd be a fun topic, not only for ourselves, but for the listeners as well. So we'll get to that here probably after the break when we get into more of this Raider game. But we got to start with the game we saw last night. The Detroit Lions losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. And surprisingly so, if I'm being honest, everybody coming into this game believing that the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. And for the last couple weeks, it's hard to argue, to be completely honest with you, especially after losing 10 coaches in the offseason, as well as your best linemen and many other pieces that I keep forgetting to mention as well. We think that the Detroit Lions losses are just in the coaching room, but we forget that they lost Ragnow. A lot of their interior guys moved on. There's a lot of things that Detroit had to deal with in this offseason. And frustration seemed to be mounting as Brian Branch took it upon himself to pop Juju Smith-Schuster after the game and start an entire brawl between himself, Isaiah Pacheco, and Juju, obviously. My first thought when I saw this was the same thing that every commentator I heard talking about it at the same time said. You waited till the end of the game? That bugs me. Where was the fight during the game, Brian? Like, I get frustrations mount and all that type of stuff, but there's no place for it in professional sports. You can't be fighting on the field. You can't do it. It's just not right. But two, if you had all this mounting frustration, you could have easily taken it out on a big hit on one of those receivers, Juju being one of them, who's probably the slowest receiver on the field, including the tight ends. So I appreciate what Dan Campbell said after the game, though. It's irresponsible. It's unacceptable, and you can't have it. Even for a coach like Dan Campbell, who came out saying, we're going to bite your kneecaps off, realizes that this wasn't a good look for his squad. Or Brian Branch, who's one of the best safeties in football and is a rising star for the Detroit Lions. But you can't have it. This is unacceptable in certain ways. And I get it. Losing is never fun. But to do it the way you did it, I mean, Patrick Mahomes was reaching his hand out to you just to tell you good game. Clearly, though, when you watch the video, Isaiah Pacheco says something to him. But like we've said many other times, doesn't matter what the guy said to you, it's how you reacted to it. And Brian, unfortunately, now is probably going to be facing at least a 2-game suspension from the NFL. And that's a major hit to a Detroit defense that needs Brian Branch on the field. What were your thoughts on everything?
That was just stupid. That's pretty much it. I think you just pretty much put it all out there. I know he was complaining about, the missed calls,
Right.
and he felt like he was getting bullied on the field. And I'm like, dude,
but see,
one, you're on a Dan Campbell defense.
Yeah.
2, come on, dude. Like, you've never played the Chiefs before. Come on. You know how calls go. And 3, put it out on the field.
Right.
Don't wait until post game and make yourself look stupid.
Right.
And that's what it did.
Absolutely. And you're one of the rising stars of this defense. Getting, or at least complaining that you're getting bullied on the field. Come on, dude.
It just makes you look soft.
Come on. That's not an acceptable answer. It's really not. And you're the strong safety of this defense. You're supposed to be the high-flying, hard-hitting guy. So realistically, I know, again, Brian Branch probably incredibly frustrated with how that game went. A lot of calls didn't go the Lions' way. But like Sparky just said, what do you expect? It's the Chiefs. And as I've said, and as I've heard every coach I've ever played for and coached with say, don't leave it up to the referees. Go score. Don't let the referees' call dictate the end of this game. How do you do that? Create a lead. And that's exactly what Kansas City did on you. They had a 10 to 17 point lead almost the entire game. Detroit couldn't whittle into it, even though they tried everything they could, including trick plays to Jared Goff that unfortunately didn't work out for them.
The Chiefs' defense is starting to step up.
They are.
They looked like a better team, and I know it's in perfect stride because Rashee Rice is now available to come back next week. I think, like we said last week, the Chiefs are starting to find their offense again.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it could be an interesting second half of the season at least.
The Chiefs are an interesting team, at least defensively to me, because this is how they always work. The first couple weeks, they have a lot of issues. Everybody says, oh, wow, it's just the offense. It's just the offense. Patrick Mahomes is the only one that's on this team that makes plays. And then as the season continues to progress, Chris Jones gets that defense in working order. And they become a top 10 defense in the league by playoff time. And that's honestly what you want, because going into the playoffs, you need that. You need a high-scoring offense that's paired with at least a defense that can get 2 to 3 stops a game. And that doesn't seem like a lot. It really doesn't. But in the NFL, that's a lot. So I'm impressed with what the Chiefs have been able to put together. I don't necessarily think this is a, damnation to the Lions. I think they're still one of the best teams in the NFL and will shape up to be that. And honestly, with the Packers struggling to beat the Bengals over the weekend, yeah.
Dude, I wanted that one so bad.
Everybody and their mother, when I tell them, oh, yeah, no, I see Detroit as probably the team in the NFC, they all look at me. You don't believe in the Packers?
Exactly.
You don't think the Pack? No, not anymore. When we first started this season, I genuinely thought, yeah, absolutely. This team could probably win the NFC North and walk all the way into the Super Bowl if they wanted
especially
to.
after they got Parsons.
Right. But now, I mean, I've seen multiple games in the last couple of weeks alone where LaFleur is looking at his offense like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is not at all winning football, although they did win. Don't get me wrong. But Cincinnati should have been a cakewalk for you. Joe Flacco or not.
And I will give some props to Cincinnati. They played well for a quarterback that just walked into the building, and we knew
Yeah.
we've all seen Flacco do this. And I think Flacco, give him a week or two, I think that offense will start rolling again.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm in a survivor league, and there's 20 of us out of 75 left, and 12 of them took the Packers. So I was
Oh,
like, come on, baby, come on, Bengals, because you can cut that in half. I would be pumped. But no, that was a hell of a game. There were some interesting games over the weekend. We saw Carolina,
mhm.
upset Dallas, which is it called an upset now? I mean, we don't know what we're going to get out of Dallas. And
It's
I
such
see
a
it a
weird
lot across
season.
from the NFL. We're seeing a lot of these games that are a lot closer
Mm.
than what we're looking at, previewing the games.
Definitely did not expect to see Carolina come out and pop Dallas in the mouth like that. But you're right. I mean, it's kind of like the Atlanta game. What are we going to get out of Dallas? Just like what are we going to get out of Atlanta? And at the time, I mean, well, now Atlanta is starting to look at least a little bit better. We'll see how they do tonight against the Buffalo Bills after their bye week and see if they've prepared well. But the Dallas Cowboys, without Micah Parsons on the defensive side, is completely missing that generalized leader. Bland and Diggs are fantastic corners, but it doesn't seem to me like they're the actual go-to leader for the defense. You need to find somebody that can come in, rally the guys, and just be that central rock for them. Otherwise, you're going to have these types of games. I mean, again, Rico Dowdle almost had a back-to-back 200-yard performance, 183 yards from the kid. And again, revenge game, I grant you, because he used to play for Dallas. But at the same time, is Carolina really that good? No, they're really not. But when they play with some purpose, when they play with this kind of ferocity, and they could drop 30 points on your head, I think this is one of those teams that if you allow them to get anywhere close to 20 to 25 points, your team is going to be looking at like, what the hell's going on? How are we losing? Instead of actually making the necessary adjustments that you need to do to stop the runs. But again, I agree with you. There were so many incredible upsets over the weekend, especially in college ball. We'll have to get to that before we get the acoustics in here because everybody that's listening to my voice right now, except for myself and Rob Chavez,
USC.
fight on, baby. Not a single one of you believed. None of you. Bolt Brady, everybody I asked this
No one.
question to, not a single person believed in my Trojans and who has the number one offense in the country right now, baby. The USC Trojans. I don't care if they're statistically under somebody else. I do not give a dang. We beat the 15th ranked Michigan Wolverines. And if that doesn't get the respect they deserve, I don't know what will. I really don't. But let's take a break real quick. We'll get to some of the other stuff that happened over the weekend, including the Raider game. And I got to play you some of this audio that I was able to pull from the press conferences in the locker room because it was some good spirits. It was some dang good spirits in that game. And honestly, that's the first time I've actually been able to be in the locker room after a Raider win. And when I tell you the vibes are completely different, but we'll let you know about all that. Plus, Tua's calling out his own teammates. And I'll let you know right now. I know Sparky's probably got a different mindset than me, but I say good for you, Tua. I say, hell yeah, let's get it done. Let's take a break real quick. This is the Early Bird Special on ESPN Bakersfield. You know, it's weird when it only comes through one side of my headphones. What? Sorry, there's an old man yelling at Sparky when we're trying to do a radio show. Bye, old man. Bye. That's fine. You got your own show to do. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special. Look, he doesn't want to be on video on his show, but he'll be on video on ours. It's a circus. It's a circus around here, man. This is why we can't wait to get to the new studio.
Yes.
We cannot wait.
And I will say, Reverb Coffee, one of the new venues or vendors at the Woolworth building, opens this morning at 6 a.m. So if you're downtown and you want some refreshing coffee, check out Reverb Coffee.
And I'll be going there on a regular basis once we move into the
Yeah,
building.
and I'm in talks with getting the Reverb people over here as well.
Fantastic.
As the chef over at the Woolworths, and I had been able to test the burgers, and they are bomb. And we have a grand opening party coming up October 25th. We're just gonna take over downtown from, I believe it's 2 to 7.
Is it really?
Yeah, the mayor will be out there cutting the ribbon, and
our guy Sparky will be your MC as well.
Yes.
So you get to go
We've
see
got,
his bright shining face.
got
You know,
5
keeping everybody
bands
happy.
playing. We'll be hopefully welcoming. You can come out and welcome us to downtown, but Vegas, man.
I mean, again, Las Vegas bouncing back against the Titans was a fantastic watch. It really, really was. I love seeing the team just synergized and ready to go, 20-10. And mind you, walking around the stadium, especially with a lot of the media people, they're not seeing this as a big deal, which rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. It's the Titans. As we said last week, the Titans are hot garbage. They really are. I mean, their own starting quarterback comes out in press conferences calling them ass, and it's true.
It's probably good they got their win last week.
I honestly wanted to go. I was sitting there waiting for Gino, and we have access to both press conferences. We can go to either the Raiders or the Titans or whatever away team. And I, in the back of my head, sat there and said, God, I want to go over to Cam so bad.
That's why I was hoping you were gonna.
But no, you know what? There was a couple things I wanted to hear from Gino. So I was like, you know what? Our listeners would rather hear from Gino. So we ended up staying. And we'll play some of that right now for you, I promise. But again, great step forward for the Raiders. The defense looks awesome. It really does. The front seven, Max Crosby, they fly around like nobody's business. The secondary is really figuring it out. The only thing on this team that's a just glaring issue to me is the offensive line. And again, I don't know if there's really any suitable way to fix it right now other than just developing the guys you have. But with a game like the Chiefs coming up this next week before your bye week and then inevitably taking on the Jaguars right after that, it's going to be a rough going, especially after the Chiefs just look that good against the Lions. But I think there is a growing sentiment within the locker room and within this building right now that they could pull off a big win in Arrowhead next week if they play their cards correctly. Let's start with Coach Carroll real quick on his thoughts, and you can go to our TikTok and our Instagram as well because the clip will be up there today. But this is Coach Carroll on the win and how big it was for the team just to get the momentum back and start moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it is important. It's important to turn it, because we've been talking like we're going to play good football the whole time, and the format and the formula of it just hasn't come together yet. And so to get one now, and the last time we won was such a long time ago we can't remember it, but it's really important for us. And these guys deserve to feel like they feel right now, and how they'll feel tonight, and they'll feel so much better driving home, and coming in the office in the morning tomorrow and Wednesday and all that. So we all feel that. It's pretty obvious.
It is a huge win for the team who was sliding right now, 1-4 coming into this, now 2-4 leaving it, and going to Kansas City is never an easy thing, as I just said. Gino, on the other hand, starting to build a little bit of confidence here. He knows he makes mistakes. We all know he makes mistakes. And honestly, I wanted to ask him about that, but didn't get a chance to at the press conference. But this is Gino's comments after the game about his play and how much he needs to do, or what he needs to do rather, to really keep the Raiders on the right path.
I mean, it wasn't as clean as I would like. Obviously, can't throw an interception in that situation. I was trying to dirt the ball. I told Coach I need to go jump in the lake or ocean or something. I mean, it's just a lot of bad luck stuff happening to me, but I'm in control of that. But, when our defense plays the way that they played today, when Devin goes out there and makes the plays that he made, Max out there disrupting the game all game long. I mean, those guys flying around, giving us the energy, the crowd, getting involved, and then us, playing clean, for the most part. I thought we did a great job on some third down situations. I thought we ran the ball well, first and second down, kept ourselves on schedule, and that allowed us to play our game. And so when we can go out there and play the way that we're supposed to, and we can execute the right way, we have a shot to win a lot of games.
I think the key words there that both of them said were playing clean, figuring out how you can play this game without turnovers and really just controlling the ball and keeping it out of the hands of the opponent, especially coming into this next week against the Chiefs. Any way you can keep that ball out of the hands of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, you're going to be doing a dang good job. The Raiders have an innate ability to pull off these types of wins against the Chiefs during the regular season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an upset next week, especially with the Raiders riding high after a win, their first home win of the season, by the way. And all of this coming on the heels of Eric Allen and his Hall of Fame ceremony, by the way, was fantastic. Again, go to our YouTube or our Instagram or TikTok. You'll be able to see videos of that. We were unable to get some audio from Mr. Allen, unfortunately. Tell me if I'm wrong here, Sparky, but this is one of the things that kind of bugged me. Mind you, the ceremony is happening kind of in the concourse area where they have the line of numbers and signatures, as you can see in the video with the picture we took. And all of it looks fantastic. They knew this was going to happen. They knew this was going to happen in this area. They even had the Hall of Fame bust there and everything. But no one thought to turn off the audio for the television or the music going in the PA system above us. So
you're just getting drowned out?
Everything was getting drowned out. When I tell you that I was probably from your camera to him and still couldn't get a dang word.
Damn.
I was so upset. I was looking at JR like, okay, cool. We got some audio at least. Like the video wasn't great, but I can still mix it and, make it look good. No.
Yeah, I saw the video. He was all smiling at you guys. And
100%, man.
Bus,
it was
probably
real
touch
cool.
it from where you were at.
100%. It was right there. It was a really good video. And honestly, the interview afterwards was even closer. But still, because of the music and stuff, like it just rounded everything out. And I'm like, God, you guys are killing me. You're killing me. But this is also why I need to go with more than just my cell phone. I should probably go with an actual full-on microphone setup. Unfortunately, we couldn't this time because of other stuff that's happening around the company right now. I mean, we got people going to DC and
you're a big Raider guy where I'm sure you got to see our boy Jason, but he'll be joining us Friday to wrap up the week at 8:30 ahead of the Chiefs game.
Can't wait to talk to him about this entire ceremony too, because it was so cool. Watching Eric Allen walk up, being greeted by every other Hall of Famer, including Charles Woodson, who, let's be honest, that's the only one people care about right there. I need to try his whiskey, dude. I need to try this Woodson whiskey. I've heard such good things, and I'm like, I cannot find it anywhere, but I will gladly, if anybody wants to hook a brother up with a bottle, or at least hook a brother up with where I can find a bottle, I would love to try this whiskey out. It's fantastic. But regardless, back to the game itself. Solid job across the board by the team. I think just the big glaring issue needs to be this offensive line being fixed. That's the only thing that I could think of. I'm watching this game just saying Geno could get it to people if he has the time. But the first half of this game, you had under 50 yards through the air. That's not acceptable. You got lucky that Cam Ward had equally as bad of a game on the opposite side. 6 sacks for the defense for the Raiders, by the way. 2 of them by Max Crosby, who was double teamed the entire game. The other thing that I need to highlight too, though, that I keep seeing from defensive ends, I want to get your thoughts on this. Guys like Crosby and TJ are getting flagged a ton more for offsides for trying to jump this snap. Am I crazy by that? I've seen it a couple times now, especially while at the Raider game. But while watching just NFL football in general this year, I've seen an influx of just offsides calls being played.
I've seen it a lot. I've also seen a lot of the wide receivers going in motion and not completely stopping before the hike.
They did say before the season they were going to crack down on that.
And I think it's the same thing. And I mean, we're seeing multiple weeks in a row that we're seeing the tush push not called with false start when it's clearly a false start.
And you notice that they stopped running it so much when everybody in the media was highlighting that.
Yep. And they even did it last week or this week.
See, when teams do that, though, it's just like the late substitution thing in college, and you can hear our promo running about that, how I feel about this. You're doing that on purpose. You knew that they were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that pops up in my head is when you stop running a play that was working so well after everybody starts highlighting the fact that, hey, they've been going off sides the whole time.
I just wonder if back to the offsides, if it's just players trying. I mean, obviously, defensive linemen, edge guys are always going to try to get that extra jump right on
100%,
time.
as you
And
should.
I don't know if it's the quarterbacks that are catching on that are just kind of switching up the wording and the pitch count type deal,
I think it's the centers.
or if it is the center.
I think the center is being smart enough to use his peripheral to really notice, okay, homeboy down there is real
jumpy.
fidgety.
Yeah.
Let's wait another extra half a second just in case.
And when you spank me, I'm going to wait a half a second.
Right. And then that gives your tackle that half a second and it gives you the flag.
I saw it three
But
times in the Dolphin game.
I saw it a handful of times in the Dolphin game. I saw it a handful of times in this Raider game. And again, like you just said, I mean, this is part of the gig. You need to figure that kind of thing out to be a good defensive end. But I've noticed it more and more every week. And I'm like, God, is it just me? Is it just me thinking this is the NFL cracking down on offsides finally? I have no idea. But let's talk about your Dolphins real quick before we get to break, because Tua Tagovailoa has come out and really started to criticize his teammates for not showing up on time to meetings and whatnot. Let's hear from him real quick. Then I want to hear Sparky's thoughts on the other side.
I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Just straight up, yeah. So, I mean, you're our Dolphins guy, Sparky. I want to start with you. Thoughts on this?
I mean, I can understand it if it was a middle of the week press conference, but right after a game that obviously I will give the guy props because this loss does not land on him.
No.
You can look at the stats and look, oh, he threw 3 interceptions. The first one was a bobble by Waddle that was clearly should have been caught, but he bobbled it up. And we saw that 3 times during that game too. The second one was definitely on Tua. And the third one was just garbage throwaway when they were trying to, with time running out, and it was just a stupid read. But I will say, and I've said it before, with 2 minutes left on the game and you're down by a touchdown, Tua is not usually the guy I'd want at a quarterback, but he did well with 4 minutes left. He drove down and he tried to kill the clock as much as they could. But I knew the way the defense had been playing for 40 seconds left in the game, and all they needed was a field goal. And we had 2 sacks. Jalen Phillips just couldn't bring down their quarterback, which another team that's dealing with offensive line issues, like you've said, is the Chargers, because I don't see positivity coming up until they address that offensive line.
Well, the issue, or at least the difference between the Raiders and the Chargers, in my opinion, is that the Chargers had the guys, they just all got hurt. The Raiders never had the guys.
I was looking at free agency. There's plenty of offensive line veteran help, which I expect teams to address here in the next week or two.
I agree.
But when it comes to Tua, I mean, I think there's different times when this is appropriate after a loss, minutes after a loss. I don't like the negativity where you throw your players out. Obviously, we kind of knew who he's talking about. I know one of them is Waller because they pulled him out of the second half of the game. And I mean, you're supposed to be the leader of this team. And I just think it was just bad timing.
See, I knew your mindset was going to be something along those lines, and I appreciate that. But for me, at least, and this is, again, outside looking in, I like this. I think that as the quarterback, you need to be the one keeping everybody accountable, especially if they're not showing up to players-only meetings. I mean, there was an answer that I should have sent you, but I didn't because he cussed in it. But Max was asked about the Raiders. One reporter after the game in the locker room brought up, said, hey, we heard news of a players-only meeting. Was that what kind of the driving factor to turn around the win? And Max straight up said, that's BS. Never happened. Don't know why you guys lie about that kind of stuff. But in this instance, with Tua, when you're being called out by your quarterback, by your leaders, I think that's a good thing, especially with a team that's struggling. Everybody's got to be accountable for doing what you're doing or not doing, rather. And if you're not taking it seriously enough to show up to players only meetings, you're clearly not taking the season serious enough, and you're not going to be a contributing factor to turning the season around. So personally, I agree with you. Maybe end of the game after after losing a tight one to the Chargers wasn't the best timing for these comments. I think they're the best that you could have gotten, though, from Tua, because you need someone like Tua to come out and say, hey, we suck, but that's on us.
Yeah.
That's not on the coach. That's on us for not taking it seriously. And at this point, all of you are playing for your jobs. Every single one of you, including Darren Waller, who may be the only shining factor on this offense right now.
I mean, A-Chain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Devon A-Chain as well.
A-Chain is the only
A-Chain's been
one that looks
fantastic.
like he's playing for a contract. And I was happy because obviously it's a big shout out to Dan and our boy Tyson. We were texting during the game and
Naturally.
they were all nervous. And I was like, dude, this is what the Dolphins do. They play up or down to teams. I expect the game to be close. And with like I said, with Tua with the ball, I was nervous. And I was happy. He drove down. He did what he had to do. He did his job. So I think he was sitting a little high on that mountain. And, there was some mistakes that we need to clean up. But it's another game. We shake it off. And, hey, we have the same record as the Ravens. So it could be worse.
I'm glad you brought up the Ravens, because on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about the Ravens and how this might have to be a season where they blow it up and just say, we're done. We're done. This season was a wash. Either just forget about it altogether or just blow up the system and let's try to find something new. We'll get to that on the other side of the break. Plus, I'll play this audio from Max Crosby in our potential new segment for Mondays here on the Early Bird Special. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. We got 15 minutes to get through the rest of the NFL and some NCAA for you before we welcome in the Acoustics to talk about their upcoming slate of shows. Very excited to talk to them again. Has been quite some time since they've been on the show. And then on the other side of that as well, we'll talk some WWE Crown Jewel that happened over the weekend. Plus, Sparky got to go see the new Tron Ares movie, which I am very curious about because, not going to lie to you, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes at all. I hope none of you do either, to be completely honest with you. And they've been getting a lot of heat for this movie from Rotten Tomatoes over the weekend. And yet everything I see from fans is, no, this movie's great.
It was awesome.
This movie's awesome. Again, I don't know why people love to hate on these. I get it. Like, everybody's got these, levels of what a real movie is. But this is why I don't normally care when anybody looks at me and says, "Oh, that movie's awful. What's wrong with you?" Man, your taste must be completely off. It really genuinely must. But okay, it is what it is. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Let's talk about a little bit more in the NFL, though, because there's some teams that are in some big, 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 big trouble. Baltimore being one of them. Again, on paper coming into the season, probably one of the most stacked teams we've seen in the NFL in quite some time. Injuries have had their way through this entire defense and offense. Obviously, star players like Raekwon Smith, Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, all dealing with injuries and not playing in this game against the Rams. But 3 points in 4 quarters is still unacceptable no matter who is playing. And when you have the top rusher and top receiver in the game and you don't score a touchdown, 17-3, John, what's going on? And again, just like I harped last week, and we saw a lot of ESPN pundits do the same thing, is it time to move on from John Harbaugh? We're all so quick to fire these coaches when they have a bad year because of injuries. Zach Taylor being a great example. Everybody's raring and ready to go to lop off that guy's head. Why are we so okay with John not getting the same treatment? He needs to be better as a coach. This is unacceptable. I get that you have injuries. I do.
Yeah, it happens.
But come on, brother. 1-5? 1-5. And you're sitting there telling me you couldn't have won at least 1 or 2 of these games?
Yeah, and they weren't even close in this one.
No.
I watched most of the game, and they were just outplayed. Some sad news for the Rams. I know Puka left and then came back, and then Schefter reported again this morning that he is definitely going to miss some time with the sprained ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
better a sprained ankle than a broken and dislocated one like another team has
lucky.
to deal with right now, which we'll get to that in a second. Y'all are cursed, by the way, San Francisco. I don't know who. I really don't. I don't know who put the hoodoo on you, but you do. You are absolutely in trouble. But regardless, back to the Ravens. Is it time to blow this ship up? Is it time to really say we have way too much talent on this team for us not to be successful? And again, just like Sparky said, this was an ugly game up and down the board, even though you saw the higher rusher, the higher passer on the Baltimore Ravens team. Cooper Rush and Tyler Huntley both had to split snaps in this game, in which neither of them got over 100 yards. As a quarterback, didn't get over 100 yards. Like, this is what I'm talking about. You're not making adjustments. You're not making the necessary changes to fix this. You really aren't. Because I'm sitting here thinking, if we just gave the ball to Derrick Henry 25 times in this game for 122 yards and he didn't get in the end zone, how? Get in the end zone. Like, that's, I don't know. That's just me. I am so shocked that we're witnessing this just deplorable play. And I used pathetic last week to justify, or to at least describe the Phillies. I'm putting it in the same way as the Baltimore Ravens.
It's the same thing.
Pathetic.
It is.
I think
it is. I think it is time. I just don't think Harbaugh is. I don't know if he's the guy that can. I mean, even before this season, a lot of fans were like, "Is he the guy?" Because he obviously has issues getting to the game.
He's got
personally,
issues winning the game in the playoffs.
exactly. And personally, I think they just probably need a new coach.
Which is wild to say, but at the same time, it's just there's no other answer to me.
I mean, he's had plenty of time, plenty of talent on these teams. And I know it's not all on him. Teams deal with injuries. It happens.
But
I mean, we just talked about the Niners. We talked about the Chargers. All these teams are dealing with it's part of the game.
right.
But like teams like the Bengals, the only thing I think is different is they've had the injury with Burrow. And I think it's more of the plan B or lack of plan B for
Right.
the Bengals that puts Taylor in that discussion.
Right.
With the Ravens, it's more of they can't win in the playoffs. And now 1-5 is just wild.
And you're under the Cincinnati Bengals, by the way. You are
Yes.
last in the AFC North. Last.
It's wild.
It is incredible. But I agree with you. But the only thing that I disagree with is it's not all on him. You've been there long enough where you should have a plan B, C, D already set up. But not even just that. But by saying it's not his fault, we would have to backtrack on every coach we've talked about already in this season that's on the hot seat.
Oh, it's definitely his
Dable,
fault.
McDaniels.
But I think it's the whole coaching and the GM, starting with the GM.
Oh, the GM is definitely to blame for a little bit of this as well, because the GM is just as important in terms of making a plan B, C, and D as a head coach is. But that's my point, is that you couldn't muster up more than 3 points in this game against the Rams. I know the Rams are a pretty tough team and a pretty tough defensive team, but your defense held Matthew Stafford to 180 yards. And we couldn't do anything. It's mind-boggling to me. So
and one other game before we get out of the NFL.
Yes.
The other one was the early game, that Broncos-Jets game.
Can we just put this on the History Channel?
Dude, I'm
Every
telling
time
you.
the Broncos and Jets play, this is just
Garbage.
awful.
And Fields, I'm going to say it
Awful.
again, he is not a starting quarterback, man.
9 completions. You were sacked 9 times, by the way, and you had 9 completions.
And you were still in the game.
But see, again, where does the fault lie with the Jets?
Exactly.
Defeated, 0-6, nowhere close to being a formidable football team, and that's with us saying that the Tennessee Titans are hot garbage. Aaron Glenn, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't want to hear this, Aaron Glenn's not the guy either. Aaron Glenn's not a head coach. I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, we knew they weren't going to be a playoff type caliber team.
We didn't think they would
but
be
this
this
is bad. This is really bad.
This is terrible. And again, I know they're not expecting him to turn this around and make them a Super Bowl contender in a year, so we probably won't see Aaron Glenn get fired after this year, even if they do go 0-17. And honestly, at this point, it might be a possibility. The Jets are awful. They are bad. And there was even an altercation between Garrett Wilson and Aaron on the side of the field that, I mean, let's hear from Garrett real quick, because his answer to the question really just, I don't even need to say it. It encapsulates everything how I feel about this. So let's hear from Garrett Wilson real quick on the altercation between him and Coach Glenn.
You know, that stuff like that is just, I don't know, y'all. I just didn't know exactly what the plan was, and once I figured it out, you know, I was disappointed. I'll just say that. So, yeah.
To not run a play, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I didn't know exactly like what the plan was. I just thought once we, you know, converted the 4th down, I just thought we were going for the, you know, trying to make the play, and then obviously we get to another 4th down, and it's a tough spot to be in. So, you know, in hindsight, I get why they did that, but in the moment, I was just like, man, I don't know. Yeah.
So let me break this down for you, for everybody who doesn't get what he's saying here. He went to Aaron Glenn and said, hey, we're losing and we're in a winnable game. What's the plan? Aaron said, we're going to do this. And Garrett probably looked at him and said, huh? What? Why? And they kept going with it. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Aaron Glenn. This is your top wide receiver, your number 1 guy on offense, mind you. And the guy you just convinced to stay in the offseason because he was very upset and didn't want to be part of the team anymore. And you promised him, most likely, that he'd be the number 1 guy and he'd be the shining star of this team. And our success is directly related to you. And then when he comes to you and says, hey, we need to make a play. I'm your guy, right? I'm the guy you need to throw the ball to make a play, right? And then he tells him something completely different. And Garrett says, well, that's not what I expected at all. You're now telling this kid, yeah, everything I told you, by the way, in the offseason was a lie, including the success that we're going to have. You and Sauce both were lied to and tricked into signing with the Jets again. Yay. This dude's so like, I
just don't understand why
I don't
they're
get it.
rolling with Fields still.
I don't either.
Because that limit in the offense, obviously the guy has talent, he can run.
But see,
But that's not a quarterback.
No, you don't need a running back. You need a quarterback. And I agree with you 100%.
And I mean, in the first half, I thought it was 11 yards at halftime. And I was like, what? Am I looking at this wrong?
Nope.
And I'm like, okay, well, at least they have a veteran backup. Go to him. And still nothing. I would definitely be shocked if they don't turn to their backup quarterback very soon.
At some point during the season, yes.
Because it cuts the play calling in half.
13-11 is a wild final score in football regardless.
Yes.
And again, nobody that watched this game was happy about it. But when you have your top guy, Garrett Wilson, for 3 catches and then 13 yards, and as Sparky just said, 11 yards from Justin. In fact, in the game, I think this is the first I've ever seen it. Justin ended with negative passing yards. He had negative 10. He threw 45 on 9 of 17. 9 of 17. I don't know if you heard me correctly on that. And was sacked 9 times for 55 yards, giving him a negative amount of yards passing in this game. We all know the Denver's defense is legit. Nobody's discrediting that. But I have to agree with Sparky. Even if it's not Justin's fault, at this point, you have to make some move just to wake up the rest of the team. You really do. Because 0-6, they're an 0-7 in the mug, 0-8. Again, we might see the first team ever go 0-17, and that might be the New York Jets. That's saying something. Their next game's against the Panthers. Panthers could beat them. Then you got at Cincinnati. At this point, Cincinnati could beat you. Then you got the Browns. You'll lose to the Browns. Then you got the Patriots, who are on fire. Then you got the Ravens. That's probably the only game at this point where I'm sitting there saying, hey, maybe you could get a win. But I'm shocked either way. I can't believe it that the Jets look this bad. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll talk to the Acoustics, talk all about their upcoming shows. Then we'll get into some college ball. There was a ton of upsets over the weekend we got to get to. Then we'll give you our thoughts on Crown Jewel, and we'll get out of here for the day. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the early bird special. Oh, thank goodness. I got all of you in the camera. That worked. We are joined by the Acoustics once again. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Well, at least some of you. We're about a third capacity.
About a third of us, right?
We couldn't get all of you in here, but until we get to the bigger venue, then we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll have you guys down there and have a whole show or something on the stage.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
How are we doing? It's been a while since you guys have been on the show.
We're doing fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the donuts again, as always. Absolutely. We got a couple shows coming up, though. You guys told me you have one in Ventura coming up, plus one at the marketplace. Let's talk about those first. Where can people get? Are there tickets available? Did they have to buy, or can they just show up to these things?
Just show up.
Show up.
Yeah, there's no. It's free to go there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Go where?
Yeah, you just show up. Our details are on our website, theacoustics.com. Don't make me spell it. It's too early.
Acoustics with K's.
Man, I came back from Vegas yesterday, and I'm a little bit more awake than you.
So I played last night.
Okay, that's the difference.
Oh, so that's why
one
it's
of us
dark
worked,
here.
the other one was in the car.
Yes, that's what
I got you.
Just a little bit. But okay, so the one in Ventura, where are we talking about here? Where's the venue?
We're playing at Leashless Brewing Company.
Okay.
Which is right on PCH by the pier there. And what time is it? It's like 6
p.m.
At 6 p.m. And it's a free show. It's a great venue, great location, great beers. They have an amazing taco truck there, and of course, music by us.
Is this the first time you guys are going to be playing there? Or?
No, actually, it's like the third or fourth time.
Is it really?
Yeah, fourth time.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So you guys are pretty much regulars.
Yeah. They keep inviting us back.
Well, that means you're doing a good job, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
We must be bringing them in.
That's what I'm thinking. So outside of that, I mean, do you guys have any other shows? I know you guys talked about the marketplace already. We'll get to that in a second because I have so many questions about this entire concert around the fountain thing that's no longer
There's
a
no
fountain.
fountain.
That doesn't make sense to me. So besides Ventura, where other places have you guys been since you've been on the show?
We played up in Kernville at the Sportsman Inn.
Nice.
What is it? A couple
Love that
weeks
place.
ago, and then we were also out at the place in Long Beach. Yeah, what's the place in Long Beach? Yeah, Santa Cruz as well. We've been up to Pacific Grove in that area, like near that Monterey Bay area. So there was like 3 shows out there. What were some of the names?
Pismo, Cayucas.
Keeping yourselves
Rosa.
busy on every way, shape, and form, I take it.
Harry's at Pismo.
That's Harry.
Harry's
Okay.
over there.
Got to go to Harry's when you're
Gallagher's. That was
Nice.
Long Beach.
Yeah, Schooners and Cayucas. That was a blast.
And I take it the road trip went well then. Everybody no fighting or anything. You guys aren't in each other's throats yet.
No.
I'm just saying every band hits
I'm just saying, I was surprised. Like, everybody's been getting along, and we're 8-10 people shoved into a
into the
band.
that's what I'm
And,
saying. You guys got 17 people in this band total, don't you? Or actually, it's more.
12.
I think it's
12,
25.
It feels like 25 sometimes.
Well, I mean, if
Everyone's
anyone hasn't heard from the Acoustics, I mean, what kind of music you guys play?
Yeah, so it's just a lot of places, and we've been staying busy, and that's about it. And besides that, it's like a lot of myself and some of the other players. Like I played with the drummer and the trombone player yesterday. Oh yeah,
There you go. Now you heard yourself.
Yeah, I played with the drummer and the trombone player yesterday on a side project thing. So it's like we all try and keep busy, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun and getting to know each other, and that's been a lot of.
Well, if you haven't heard from the Acoustics, what kind of band are you guys? What kind of music we hearing?
So we do some Latin, some funk. We try and do it all, some pop stuff. So a little bit of. We got one twangy song, I guess, right?
Yeah, we got the Bakersfield style in there.
Yeah, and, yeah. I mean, we'll play whatever. I mean, we've done
anything to keep the vibes up and keep people drinking.
Exactly.
Right?
Keeps them moving and keeps them having a good time. Then we'll play it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the show that's going to be here locally. The music around the fountain that no longer exists.
Yes.
So people can just walk up to this at any point. What day is it? What day are you guys going to be there, and what time? First off,
yeah. Check the phone.
It's November.
Just to make sure.
November 6th. It's a Thursday night, and what time?
It's
At 7 p.m.
7. Okay. Fantastic. And how do you guys feel about them removing the fountain? I know again it has nothing to do with your guys' concert whatsoever, and I apologize for that.
You know, from a performing standpoint, it's great because
Really?
there's
More
now
space.
now they have a nice big open space for people to sit on the fake grass out there.
Mhm.
I mean, it's easier for us to set up instead of having to sit out in the parking lot and play the other direction.
Well, and you guys get a good amount of people at these events too. I've gone to a handful of them, and Well, not that I'm surprised that they go to see you guys, but more I'm just surprised because it's like I'm surprised Bakersfield.
No, just kidding.
We're pleased.
Yeah, we're pleased. I know, but I'm just sort of saying, like, Bakersfield is one of those places that's very last second, so you never really know how many people are going to show up to an event until it actually happens. But it's a good amount of people that show up to this thing. So if you want to go and check out the Acoustics, I highly recommend you get there early to get a good spot. Because you guys really fill it out. So
we were talking about the marketplace last week. I took my son out to a movie, and we're like, hey, well, let's just go by Edwards, and was shocked. I was like, a lot of these businesses are either gone or just have changed up businesses, but the whole left side is almost Dead Valley. Yeah. And I was like, what? This is the first time I've seen it without the fountain. And I was like, what happened? And I saw that they put in some turf, and then I saw the post the next day from Steve. It said, the concerts by the fountain. I said, okay, well, that must be that circular turf that we're talking about. But that's obviously probably more space. Formerly known as. But yeah, check out the Acoustics. They have social media, Facebook, their website. That's where I usually check out.
And all that?
No, not TikTok. Everything else. Yeah.
SoundCloud,
YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook.
Fantastic. And again, it's acoustics with a K, not with
2
a C.
K's. Yeah.
I almost made that. I made that mistake earlier today, and I said, "Wait, no, it doesn't."
Yeah.
So outside of the show here in the marketplace, what else do we have coming up? I know you guys were talking about a ugly Christmas sweater event that you guys got going.
We have our annual ugly sweater Christmas bash, which is
love that.
Yeah, it's a benefit concert. Where were you doing it this year?
The plan is to do it at the Well Comedy Club.
The Well.
Okay, we know them very well.
Nice sponsor of the show here.
Yeah,
fantastic.
That'll be in the summer, and we do it every year as a benefit for local charities. This year we're benefiting mental health, and of course it's the Doggy
Do Good.
Yeah, Doggy Do Good, providing raising money to provide service dogs for people.
How long have you guys been doing this?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. And have they just been around downtown, or has it been usually at a central location?
We've done it at was it Crusaders when we did it? Crusader Brewing Company, and then also Timber and the Well when they were on White Lane.
Yeah.
Okay, what I gotta ask is that my favorite part about Christmas is the ugly Christmas sweaters. It's the best.
It's the best.
What's the best ones you guys have seen at these events?
Ooh, man. I know Fernando Cruz shows up, man. He usually shows up with pretty amazing
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't make my own. I just go and find some crazy.
No, I go and find one too. I'm not one that has enough time to actually
pretty crafty, like doing the whole lights thing and animatronic reindeer.
Well, you can go to any store now and find like 4 to 5 different ones that are just absolutely absurd. So I love going around Christmas and just seeing everybody with the wild Christmas sweaters and stuff. And it makes Christmas so much lighter for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're just moving into this world where everything has to be so serious, especially the holidays, and everybody's always fighting with each other. But when you walk by, you see somebody with some ridiculous Christmas sweater of Santa with 2, Christmas trees that shouldn't be in the certain spot. Looks hilarious, and it's always fun to get behind. So I love that you guys are putting that up. So is there any other events you guys want to pump up before we get you guys out of here?
Next year, look out for our schedule in 2026.
Okay. Is that going to be announced on the website, or?
Yeah, that'll be announced soon. Once that gets dialed in, we'll be promoting our next year's summer tour. So.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Make sure the Stay Weird tour. We've been throwing around a bunch of names for
Intergalactic Kegger tour.
Yeah. I know the Acoustics have been around town for a while. It's one of these long, serving bands. Any new material coming out soon?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I'm trying to write stuff. So is Izzy, and I just want some more. And Steve always has some crazy charts that we're just like, what are you doing?
How is this supposed to?
So you're the Ringo. That's what it is.
He's got the whole plan. Like when he's not, he'll like it's like homework assignments where he won't be able to make a rehearsal. It's like, here's your new charts. And we're like, we have no idea how this is supposed to sound. What does he mean?
How do you want it to play?
I'll definitely be keeping in touch with Steve as we're in the middle of the movement of the Woolworth building.
That's very exciting.
Or hopefully our venue, we right now the city isn't allowing us to use the basement until the elevator is complete. Right. And we're looking at the last week of November, first week of December. So hopefully we can get you back in before that December show. the Ugly Sweater Show, and we get you
That'd be
all in
amazing.
here.
All right,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
Pack this
telling
room.
you, we need a bigger studio. There's no way we could fit all of them in here at the same time. But
It'd be very cozy.
I know, really, we got half of you out there looking, but it's all good. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time as always. Can't wait to go see the show at the marketplace as well. What do we got?
We got a gift for you.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
gift for you right there.
Our tour
What is
posters.
this?
Our signed tour posters
Oh,
signed by
nice.
all the band
Put
members.
that up
there.
right behind Sparky.
Yes.
All right.
Signed by everybody as well. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate that.
Right.
So thank you. We got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. We appreciate you guys coming down here. And one more time, where are these shows? How can everybody get there?
Leaseless Brewing Company on October 17th. 18th, Saturday.
Somewhere in there.
6 p.m. That's a free show it's right on PCH by the pier.
Yeah, it's outside. That's the one thing
yeah.
I was gonna say is like they open up their doors and their patio areas there, so it's,
Mhm.
you
They
know,
got
can bring your dog.
yeah,
There you
dog
go.
friendly. They have heaters out there. It's dog friendly. Kids. All of our gigs for the rest of the year are family friendly.
Mhm.
Then we'll be at the marketplace November
6th.
at the formerly concerts at the Fountain, and then we have our Ugly Sweater benefit concert that'll be at the Well Comedy Club in December.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I can't wait to be there at the marketplace to watch you guys play again. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you,
got to take a
guys.
break real quick. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
Welcome back. Those of you wondering, yes, this is the Acoustics. They are fantastic. If you haven't gotten to see them live, I highly recommend you get down to the concerts around the fountain that no longer exists. It is a lot of fun to go.
Formerly known.
Yeah, formerly known as the Fountain. Still just like looking at that place.
Ghost Town.
It really is depressing.
Yeah. I was talking to my son. I was like, we used to eat lunch at that place.
We used to
It
hang
be
out
called
here
that,
every day.
And I felt like when my parents used to say, oh, we used to cruise Chester. And I was like, dude, the marketplace used to be popping. And he's like, really?
It used to be the place, man. When they had
I don't see it.
Russo's with the card place in the back. And,
Many of nights opening packs of cards down there.
yes. So much fun. So much fun. And you can have all the fun in the world watching the Acoustics as well. That is going to be a fantastic show. And like I said, if you are one for live music, this is the concert you want to go to. It is still a fantastic venue, regardless of how or what businesses are connected to the marketplace as it is right now.
I'm going to have to talk to Betts because if they're opening in December, we were falsely.
Yeah, no, we were falsely told.
We were told January.
I was told we had an ugly Christmas sweater coming here. Betts, what's going on?
Yeah.
And why was I not invited?
Right.
Betts, what's happening? I love ugly Christmas sweaters.
And I will
I have
say,
many.
I did get Tyson on to come next week on Monday.
Oh, great.
Because it is open mic Mondays over at Firehouse.
I get to hear him talk all the ish about.
And we made a side bet. We made a side bet, and this time it was a. We didn't want to do money. He was out at Brunch Fest. I got to meet him and his old lady, and this time we said, no money. We'll just go by points. How about every point it's a chicken wing?
Oh,
so I owe him 2 chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
I was like, it's all right. I'll get a dozen, and you can have the final 2.
I like that bet actually. I'm gonna start doing that instead of every dollar. Instead, you owe me 1 chicken wing.
Yep,
that's it. Just
so I do owe our boy Tyson 2 wings.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. But again, if you didn't get to go out to Brunch Fest, you missed out. You really did. We'll be doing it again next year. It'll be our 10th annual next year, if I'm not mistaken. But you definitely missed out. I know a lot of people walked up, said hi, and I saw a handful with the EBS shirts on. I'm not sure exactly who Sparky gave the shirts to. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Whoever
get to work
came
with
out and
Sparky.
said they heard us. So
no, well, that's awesome. I'm cool with it. I have no issue whatsoever. Let's play this audio real quick though before I forget about it again, because I do want to start incorporating this into the show. Max Crosby post game. I'm just setting the table for you. We're in the locker room, and mind you, this man's got more bling on him than I've ever seen in my life. His entire wrist has more money on it than I will ever know. And it took him a solid 45 seconds just to put it all on. And when you really boil it down, that is a lot of time. I'm telling you right now, it really is. But he said something very interesting that the Raiders do every single Monday. And I kind of, like, when I heard him say it, I thought about it and I said, you know what? Sparky will probably love this as well. Let's start with Max's answer. And basically how this all started was they asked Max about the procedures within the week, how it led to the win, and what they kind of do to keep themselves accountable and keep themselves ready for the game. So let's hear from Max real quick, and then I will get to what I'm thinking on the other side.
Max, earlier this week, Patrick Graham said he was tired of the talk. He was ready for you guys to do it. Was that the mentality going into the game this week?
100%. There's, anybody could talk, but when it really comes down to it, it's about going out there and getting the results. And it comes from the preparation and, focus on where your feet are at, not worrying about, tomorrow, worry about yesterday, just being exactly where you're at. And it's going to give you the better chance, to be at your best, the next day. So that's our mindset. And, like I said, we had a really good week of practice, and we have awesome guys in this locker room. So it was really cool, being out there and seeing all the guys flying around.
I think it was the other one. It might have been the second one.
I think you wanted to hear the first one first.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, yeah, I want the second one. The first one, yes, although the preparation and whatnot, it's always great to hear. And the fact that they were challenged and turned the season around, I think it's a great step forward. But I'm sorry, no, this is the one that I was referring to. I apologize.
It's, everything matters. Playing complementary football, we know that, and it was special teams with offense, the offense is scoring points, moving the ball. It just makes everything easier. And we talk about it as a unit, we're very open and honest. We have, every Monday it's Tell the Truth Monday. We go in there and, how are we going to help each other out? How are we going to, put ourselves in more, easier situations where we can go be at our best. And, it's on all of us to be at our best. Our defense, we haven't been at our best all year. The offense hasn't, the special teams haven't, but I know we're focused on getting better, and that's all you can do. So yeah, we've just stayed together, through all the things going on around us, and staying focused on what matters, and that's trying to get wins.
First and foremost, Raider fans, that's exactly what you want to hear from your team, is everybody keeping themselves accountable. Like I said, with the whole Tua situation, although maybe timing-wise not the best idea for Tua to be highlighting the fact that people are missing players-only meetings, but you still need to keep these guys accountable. Now, the one thing during that interview, or that answer that I have to highlight is Tell the Truth Monday, or Tell Your Truth Monday is basically the way I'm thinking about it. I know everybody has their own little versions of, overreaction Monday. Everybody likes to overreact to what they saw their teams do on Sunday or Saturday and move on from it. But I want to introduce a new segment to the show that we're going to start doing here for all of you listeners as well as ourselves, called Tell Your Truth Monday. Basically, you can come on and talk about any kind of overreaction that you have from your team. What is your truth about your team? What is your truth about what's going on in the world of the NFL, NCAA, NBA, MLB? Does not matter. Whatever you have that's a massive overreaction, or just your truth. You believe it to be true. It could be a conspiracy that you believe is happening around the world of sports right now, or the fact that your team just sucks and you want to blow it up. What is your truth? And we're going to start that next week probably, and hopefully get you guys involved in this as well, because I would love to hear everybody's thoughts about their own teams and what you believe to be the truth about your team. Do you believe the Philadelphia Phillies threw away an era like I do? Do you believe that, I don't know, some of these teams favor the Chiefs a little too much? Some of the referees maybe favor the Chiefs too much. The NFL has some
no
sort of
penalties
script
last night. That was wild.
That was wild.
My truth is the Dolphins need to blow it up, and I know it's speaking too early because we can't do it right now.
Speak your truth, my friend.
There is nothing.
Speak it.
There is nothing Miami can do this season that's going to save anything, as they dug their holes with Tua's contract and keeping McDaniel an extra year and keeping GM Greer an extra year. I think they're all gone. I think it's going to be a new regime, and I think it starts with I think Bradley Chubb will get traded here in a week or two. I wouldn't doubt if there is more people on the block, but I think about week 8, I think it's time to bench Tua. Let him sit and watch and act like the leader he is not. And number 2 is I think the Mariners are the real deal. And I personally think the Blue Jays, yes, the Blue Jays are a great team. They wouldn't, if they weren't, they wouldn't be playing right now.
Exactly.
But I don't think they're going to be getting out of this series. I think Seattle's pitching is a little too hard for them. I think the Mariners are going to be the real deal. I think they're going to actually be in that World Series. I think it might be game 5, game 6. I originally said Mariners in 5, but just watching out of game 1, I know Cal has great stats playing in the Blue Jays stadium. And that's one thing that you could tell last night. But number 2 is the Blue Jays, they got by the Yankees, but this team, the Mariners team, not only are they have great pitching, the great bullpen that I don't think the Blue Jays are going to be ready for, but they aren't lazy, man. It's always the big hits and the big steals. They're a quick team.
They're going
to
rack
I think
them
we
up.
saw it last night. Hopefully we can pull this series out in 5.
Oh, I agree. But again, it's more about the mentality of the team right now. I think Seattle is coming in with more of a we want to win the whole shebang mentality, whereas Toronto, as much as I loved watching them beat up on the Yankees, I think there's a little bit of an issue when it comes to beating your rivals in these big playoff runs. It kind of masks over that hunger for wanting to get the championship. Anytime you go up against somebody that you are just heated rivals of, when you beat that team, you usually realize your team literally used everything they had left.
Blew their load early
to beat that team. Exactly. And when it comes to the Toronto Blue Jays, although I don't think they've necessarily blown the load off already, and they're not going to be able to rack up 6-7 runs in a game like they did against the Yankees. I don't necessarily say that's the case, although your pitching core is way better than the Yankees pitching core. I could tell you that right now. But I will say that watching them celebrate so much after beating the Yankees And this was something that was actually brought up to me over the weekend as well, is the fact that we're celebrating way too much in playoffs, especially baseball. We're going to be dousing each other in champagne after you get past the wild card round.
Yeah. Like, what are you celebrating for? You
It's
get
exactly
extra couple
what,
series?
it's exactly what the person told me. Why are we celebrating? The job's not done.
And we had a listener asking the same thing about Colorado.
You're right. The same
When
thing.
they won
Like,
their game.
why,
It's like one game, dude.
one game and you're storming the field. And Dion had no idea. Apparently, that's a $50,000 fine now.
Yes.
I said, Dion, of course it is. Like, what are you talking about?
You
He's
think
like,
this is
that's a
free?
dumb rule. I'm like, what are you, Dion? We've been talking about this for months, homeboy. You can't have this anymore. You can't.
Not
Kids
only
are
the
getting
safety.
hurt.
Yeah, not only just the safety, but people put in a lot of money on this field.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not
And
free.
they're tearing down the goalposts and the flooring and all that type. Like, these kids are going nuts, which again, part of college sports, I grant you, but not every game.
Yeah, someone has to pay for that.
Every game. Like, that's my thing. It's like, I get celebrating the little things in sports. I really do. But like, especially in baseball right now, you should not be popping bottles after winning the ALDS. And I think that's where Toronto is really going to shoot themselves in the foot, is that they were so focused on saying, oh, we beat the Yankees. We beat the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankees won the AL last year. Your job is to win the AL this year. And it's not going to happen because you guys just, for some reason, believed you won the whole shebang when you beat the Yankees. And that's not the case.
Game 2 is today at 2:00.
Absolutely.
So hopefully Seattle can. You'll know when I walk in tomorrow morning.
If that hat is on his head or not, we will know.
Well, sure the hell ain't gonna be my dolphin hat. So
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Let's take a break real quick and pay some bills. On the other side, we'll talk about some of these major upsets from the world of college ball. Plus, we got to get to our thoughts on Crown Jewel over the weekend. I do have a text message here from Twitch that I would love to read on air as well. So this is the early bird special right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m., as well as streaming video every single weekday, 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all over the place. Also, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe with your friends. And for those of you who are wondering, no, myself and Sparky have not seen Raw yet. Neither of us woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Raw. Well, one of us woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but that was to come here. That would be my guy, Sparky.
Damn it. Austin.
So I love you. I do. My best friend who texts into the show all the time. All the time. Love the fact that I have family members and friends who listen to the show. And we appreciate everybody who listens to the show, whether you're a family or a friend. You are part of the family because you're part of the crew here at the Early Bird Special. What do they call us? The flock?
Yes.
They call us the flock. You're part of the flock now. But when we tell you we haven't seen something yet, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I won't read the text.
Come on, man. Well, the other one that I'm reading here pretty much does the same thing, but it is what it is. We're going to get into it. If you're a wrestling fan, yes, Raw took place in Perth, Australia this morning, crack of dawn, 4 or 5 in the morning, so it's already done. If you're not looking to watch it on Netflix before you go to work today, highly recommend you stay off of social media because it is all over the place.
Yes.
But let's just get to the text message before we get to the firing of James Franklin, because that was the major story of the weekend, and we haven't gotten a chance to talk about it yet. But as well as our buddy Austin, who just texted in, this person on Twitch just messaged us as well, said, so the Vision was just a quote-unquote short-term project all along. This is Triple H's way of saying not all stories should be like having 2 or 3 year builds, huh? I agree with that 110%. Okay. Triple H is still the king of long-term storytelling, though, in wrestling. He genuinely is. And if you think that he's going to steer away from that, you're crazy. But I agree with you. Not every story needs to go 2, 3, 4 years long and be some sort of pinnacle story in the world of wrestling. Some of them are pretty short-lived. What that means, we now know, thanks to our buddy Austin. I won't spoil it for you guys, though. So go watch Raw on Netflix tonight if you would like to. It is going to be a fantastic show from Perth, Australia. I know there's a tag team match scheduled between Bailey and Lyra against Roxanne and Raquel. I believe Penta will also be going against Dom for the IC belt tonight. There's a lot of things that you could watch that are going to be very entertaining. So go watch it for yourself.
And I've told you 2 times this website that I go to for WWE rumors, and they've changed it up. One, it was Gunther.
Now they're changing it again?
Now they've changed it to Seth. So I think by the time it's December and its final match, they'll list about 8 wrestlers and we'll know, okay, it's one of the 8.
This is why I parrot this singular quote from Triple H, who says this almost anytime he is questioned on if people know leaks or not. Nobody knows, not even them.
Yeah, and they change up.
They
sometimes
have
day
not
of.
planned it yet. I promise you. Like Sparky just said, they change it on the fly all the time.
Because they should.
They really should.
But college
football, major upsets all across the board over the weekend, including my USC Trojans.
And Penn State letting their coach go.
I'm just saying, look, James Franklin, that should have happened a while ago.
Right.
That should have happened a while ago. I mean, same with Texas. Texas should have fired Sarkisian already. How the hell did you go from the number 1 team in the nation to not ranked? I don't care if you beat number 6 Oklahoma over the weekend. Could not care less. You should have been fired. James Franklin, career record with Penn State against top 10 teams or top 25 teams, really. 4-21. 4-20. Are we hearing me correctly? 4-21. Should have been fired a while ago. Should have been fired after the UCLA game, if I'm being completely honest. You had high expectations, and this is what happens in college ball. If you do not exceed those expectations or at least live to them, you will be fired. That's part of the gig. You will be fired. Now, the positive for James Franklin, and apparently every college coach in the world needs to get his agent or whoever signed him on for this deal. But regardless of if he got fired or not, he still gets paid, what was it, $56 million?
They owe him 49 still.
Absurd amounts of money.
But James Franklin being let go from Penn State after the 30-20 loss, after just an embarrassing 3 weeks of football and losing Drew Aller, your number one quarterback. Penn State, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to our guy, Billy Smith, who is a massive Penn State fan.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's from, I think he's from the area. But this should have happened. This should have happened a while ago. I was kind of scratching my head over this when they lost 2-3 weeks ago, and they brought up what was it, like 1 in 10 or something like that against big name schools. If you can't win the big game, you can't be a head coach at those schools. You can't. If you cannot win the big game, you can't coach at Bama. You can't coach at Ohio State. You can't coach at USC, at Penn State. These huge organizations that are used to winning. It's impossible. You will lose your job. And I mean, if anybody loves sports docs like me, and you went and watched the SEC docuseries before the season started, and you heard it from guys in Mississippi State, in Vanderbilt, schools that you really don't think of in terms of powerhouses in college sports, but you still have to win. You still have to take on these big name guys when you have the opportunity to do that, when you make the schedule, because you make the schedule. The head coach in college makes the schedule. For those of you who don't know, they get with their athletic director, they call schools and say, hey, we want to play you this year. We want to play you this year. We want to play you this year. Then you decide where the two of them play. So that's all on you. This guy should have been fired a while ago. I'm not shocked at all. And to be honest with you, Penn State fans deserve so much better. They really do. They deserve so much better. But after losing this week, and again, started with the Oregon game a few weeks ago, then with UCLA, they needed to do it. It had to happen. You have to cut it loose. The other major one, we already kind of mentioned it, Texas over Oklahoma. Arch Manning taking down the number one defense in college ball right now. Did this silence a lot of critics, though, in your opinion, Sparky? Because I know a lot of people were talking about Arch, saying he was overhyped, saying that he couldn't go up against these big-name colleges like the Ohio States, like the Floridas. Do you think this kind of silences a lot of critics and says, okay, Arch can at least put up a fight against some defenses?
I mean, it's so damn early. I mean, it's the same thing. I still see people, oh, they're tanking for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, it's what, week 7?
If you're tanking for anybody this year, you're tanking from that kid from Indiana.
It is not him.
Mendoza is a stud. But no, you ain't taking for Archie anymore. No way. But
I just think it's early, and especially with these big teams, whether it's the Texas or, even with Georgia and LSU, it's early, man. And they're still getting out of these bugs. But I think overall, I mean, those are the two games I got to watch. I got to watch the LSU game and I got to watch the Texas game. I'm not sold that Texas is a top tier team.
I'm not either.
And I know that it's not what the media says. They're all over Texas. I think Miami is really the team that you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. The U has been silently wrecking house on a lot of these games they've been playing. I mean, again, I know they've gone up against like Florida State and stuff like that, who, I mean, at the beginning of the year, we were kind of thinking Florida State might actually be a dog. They're 0-3 in the ACC and haven't won a game. Like, I don't know. It's hard to really justify it, I realize. But the U has just been, the last couple of years, really, I mean, has been that team in Florida that everybody needs to watch out for. And I agree with you. I think there's a handful of teams that it may be a little too early to be counting out, or really just saying if they're a good team or a great team or not. I just don't know if this win for Texas is enough to really catapult them back into the conversation. You're already at 2 losses. And in college ball, really, that already is damning. Having 2 losses will not be beneficial to you when the playoff seeding begins. I've been very vocal on this show to say that I don't believe Sarkisian is a legit head coach either. I think he's a little overrated. Stand by those statements, especially when you have a team as talented as Texas. And again, you went from the number 1 team in the nation to unranked. That's damning, in my opinion. You should have been fired a while ago. But I just don't know if this was enough for me to at least to say that Archie is at least past the criticisms of taking on big defenses. Because even in this game, He didn't outplay Mateer. Mateer just threw the ball away a couple times. Mateer's coming off a very serious injury and threw 3 interceptions, which led to Texas really getting the game. But at the end of the day, this is a good step forward for Archie in silencing critics, at least, who say he doesn't even have the ability to develop. Because I think that is what everybody was kind of worried about was we know him as a Manning, but can this Manning really be coachable? Is he going to develop his game and get better?
Oh yeah,
I think
I could
people
see
assume that,
Yeah.
but it's hard to really say in today's day and age because we do see so many of these very talented athletes just fizzle out because they're not coachable. But I do think that this at least is a solid step forward, in my opinion, of him being a guy, and you could at least say, okay, he didn't look terrible against this defense.
It was a big win.
It was a huge win for Texas. Don't think that actually puts them back in the conversation for the playoffs, but at this point, at least you could say you beat the number 1 defense in the college. That is for sure. And again, I'm going to have to highlight it just because before we go to break, USC 31, Michigan 13. Eat your heart out, Dayton Portnoy. Because Jaden Mayava is a dude. I love this team. I cannot wait to see them beat up on Notre Dame this weekend. And again, my gripe against the NCAA will forever be, why do we favor Notre Dame? Why? 13th in the country and they have 2 losses? Really? It's just like the Arizona State thing. They put Arizona State at the bottom of the top 25 over USC. And I said, really? You think Arizona State's better than USC right now? Number 3 offense in the nation statistically. And they're worse than Arizona State. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Let's take a break real quick, pay some bills. We'll get to our thoughts on Crown Jewel on the other side. Plus, Sparky got to go see the new Tron movie. And I'm very curious because I've seen some clips that had me leaving myself, dumbfounded a little bit, including Jared Leto telling Jeff Bridges that he liked Depeche Mode. That was pretty interesting. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
You know what's funny? I was watching this a little bit before Brunch Fest. Got to catch the Seth and Cody match right before I left. Caught myself dancing to his song. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love me some Seth Rollins.
I woke up early
He's
and
got to be my favorite wrestler right now.
was cleaning up and getting ready for Brunch Fest, and I had to pause it at the main event, but I got to watch all of it afterwards, after the BC game, after the band competition at BHS, and everyone was crashed. It was like 11:30 midnight. I'm like, I've
You
been
had
up
a
since
longer
4
weekend than me,
a.m.
my friend. You didn't even have
and
to leave town.
I'm going to watch this, and I was super happy, not with overall with the PLE, but I was glad. I knew kind of, they have to give Seth this match. I mean, Cody keeps pushing the 3-0 or whatever, and there's no title to be
No.
lost. So this would be a perfect time for Seth to win, and luckily he did.
What's interesting to me as well was the way they are building both Seth and a lot of these other guys that are going against Roman. Okay. For those of you who don't follow wrestling, wrestling has this innate ability to take their top guy and humanize them. They really have to take their top guy and have them lose a ton. I think that's why you're seeing that with Io Sky so much right now. And I know there's a lot of people that are friends of this show that are not happy to see that, but that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. You have to let every other villain get big. Otherwise, your heroes just walk around looking like Superman and he's unbeatable. And that's not what wrestling is. Wrestling, you have to have that innate thought that maybe this is the week that this guy loses. You have to have that suspension of disbelief. So I agree with you. The way they were building this match, they had to give to Seth. You had to. You just kept throwing it in his face. Oh, you've never beaten me. You'll never beat me. And the minute that I saw him bring that watch down to the ring, I was like, that's what's going to do it.
Yep.
He's going to pull a John. He's going to put that watch over his fist and he's going to punch him with it. And that's how it's going to happen. And honestly, it was a great match all in all the way around. Very, very compelling. Both of them using moves that neither of them really use ever. We got to see for the first time ever a top rope crossroads, which has never been done. That was pretty entertaining.
That leap
from
the
took
other
for the
side,
Cody cutter and he missed. I was like, oh, that's going to hurt. He landed right on his back. And again, kudos to Cody Rhodes and Seth and all of these guys for taking these bumps and taking these hits.
Oh, I'm talking about the turnbuckle to turnbuckle jump.
Yeah, no,
that was
that
wild.
one was wild. You're
I was
right.
like, I've never seen anyone do that, besides Coco Beware,
right?
Or
And
Snuka.
And that's the thing, though, is that that's what I love about matches between guys like Cody and Seth. Is these guys are not just great wrestlers, but they're historians of the game. And just like we saw with John and AJ,
my gosh,
fantastic! I mean,
to see the sweet chin music,
Tombstone Pile Driver, the Sister Abigail, the Rusev's
that was a great
Camel
match.
Clutch. I mean, the entire thing. I knew it was going to be a banger. I just wish they would have built it better.
Yeah, there was no story behind it.
No,
it was a great match, but that was the only thing that fell short. Was the story.
Again, we had our criticisms for the past 2 weeks. You can go back and watch all the episodes with KG and all this other stuff. But overall, I say Crown Jewel was better than WrestlePalooza. But I still say a lot of these fell flat solely because there was no story behind it. Stephanie and Tiffy was completely. You don't even see clips online.
Yeah.
That's how much people didn't care. And
which is sad
because this is two of the top talents in the women's division and you should care. But same with I barely saw any clips of the Rhea and Io tag match. Not much shown from that outside of Io giving her a birthday cake afterwards. It's like, see, this is how you know not even the WWE cared.
And one is the biggest part was the night before at SmackDown, or even the morning before, because I didn't watch it till the night. But
Damian Priest taking a fireball to the face.
That, and finally having the Wyatt Six and MFT.
See, that's what I'm excited about, is that SmackDown showed me, okay, whomever is handling the writing room took back control. Because we're starting to see some stories build again. You're right. We saw the MFTs come out and challenge not only the Wyatt Six,
with the face paint,
but the face paint going back to the head shrinkers. That was cool. I think we're going to see a whole different era and a whole different edge to this group. And I'm hoping we get Miss Panina finally thrown into the main roster here as the female member of that group because she would fit like a glove.
And I was going to bring up the Edge thing, but I could take
we'll talk
wait
about
till
that
KG tomorrow.
Because there's a lot that can go into that, including a potential trade between the AEW and the WWE. That is on the table. We'll explain that tomorrow and how that all could take place and how we could see Edge back in the WWE before he retires as well. But until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. This has been the Early Bird Special. Join us back here once again, 7 to 9 as always. Sparky, let's get out of here.